Oh man, Kings, no. That's not what we wanted to see. Come on, Kings, gotta do better, gotta close out games better. This was a beatable team. Kings, man. On the second night of a back-to-back for both teams, the Sacramento Kings lose to the Chicago Bulls, a team that was there for the getting, and were not able to close out the game, where guys like Kobe White, Kevin Huerter, and Vucevic were able to pretty much score at will and dominate the Kings on defense at the end. And the Kings lose at home to the Chicago Bulls 128-116. And it was a weird game. The Kings were hot in the beginning. First quarter, they were able to score 39 points. But it was that third quarter, the third quarter killer that always kills the Kings. They outscored the Kings in both the third quarter and the fourth quarter. And the Kings shooting in the fourth was not good at all. And the Kings are still in ninth place. That's pretty much where they're kind of stuck at. They need to watch out because the Suns have won 2 and are rapidly approaching the Kings to overtake them. And the Kings are currently 5 games behind the Timberwolves at 8th place. Hey, and if you're watching this, I ask, please click that like button and subscribe. If you're into NBA talk, NBA news, Kings talk, Kings news, you'll like this channel, you'll like my analysis. Go ahead and click that subscribe button so you'll get notifications the day after each game when I make a new episode. And I would like to say, hopefully you're here for the whole video. I appreciate you being here, and welcome YouTube. And to all my friends and folks, it's your guy, Jay Woods, aka Shy the Man, and I'm back at you with another episode of The Kings Morning After, Midday Cup of Joe with Jay.
I love it.
And today is March 21st, 2025. And the day is, you know what day it is. You know what day it is. Yeah. It's Friday. Yes, sir. It's Friday. Yeah. End of the work week Friday. Maybe you got your weekend off. Maybe you don't. But it's still end of the work week Friday. Yeah. I'm thinking of changing it to Festive Friday. I like the sound of that better. Festive Friday. And I might be changing the song too, so stay tuned to that. Subscribe so you can bear witness to the history of the show. And my cup of Joe for today. Man, these Kings. What it is to be a Kings fan. That roller coaster ride that we ride on a weekly basis. Man, oh man, I tell you, it's something else. So the Kings managed to lose to a Chicago team that was on the second night of a back-to-back. They lost the night before, and the Kings were at home against a team with a worse record, and in my opinion, a team with a worse roster than the Kings. And the Kings managed to fumble this game away in the mix of a playoff run, or a play-in run, I guess at this point you could say. They were able to fumble a winnable game, a game that they could have and should have had. They were able to fumble it away. And I didn't like it. I didn't like this game at all. I didn't appreciate what happened. They were shooting really well in the beginning of the game, and they were just kind of running the score up in the first quarter on the Bulls with a lot of energy, and they looked good. It looked like it was a definite victory in the first quarter, the first half. And then that second half, they had one. Brownie. Brownie. Shh. Hey. And in that second half, man, it was just ugly. It was ugly, especially that fourth quarter. God, it felt like nobody was playing defense. Nobody was able to stop anybody. They couldn't even stop Kevin Huerter, of all people. Guys were getting blown by. Guys were getting hit on for three-pointers. Back to the bad closeouts. Back to guys getting burned off the dribble and no help at the rim type play. And then all of a sudden the Kings they froze up and they couldn't hit shots. It was like, what the hell happened? Tale of two halves. This game was definitely a tale of two halves. Like, what happened to the Kings in that second half was kind of crazy. There's no answers. Zach LaVine didn't score very many points. Malik Monk had a big night in scoring. This team is just kind of, it seems like they're a little all over the place. We got 3 different guys that led in assists last night. 5 assists 15 assists between LaVine, DeRozan, and Monk. They each had 5 each. So it's like, these guys are trying to distribute the ball for the lack of a true point guard that we have, I guess is why. And on any given night, any one of those guys could be the leading scorer. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of like a 3-headed snake type thing, where, Monk could be the leading scorer like he was last night with 34. It could be LaVine, who can get 30 to 40 at any given night. For some reason, he only had 8. Sometimes it's like that. It seems like when guys come back after an absence like he did, they don't really score that much. Hopefully his personal absence is nothing big and everything's okay with his family and him and his health and all that. He did have a personal... he was out for personal reasons the game before, so not sure what that was. And then you got DeRozan. So on any given night, DeRozan can hit 30 on you. He might be the leading scorer or the leading assist getter. So it just kind of smells of a team that is still trying to find their place, trying to learn their roles. Everybody's trying to be the de facto point guard when we don't really need that. We need guys to just kind of stay aggressive in their scoring. Some of LaVine's shots last night were a little bad. They looked like heat check shots a little bit, with guys on them just kind of taking quick jumpers from 3 and stuff. I'd like to see Zach LaVine drive to the basket a lot more. Especially if there's a guy on him or near him. Don't just launch every 3 you have. Drive to the basket. Get some points that way. Get some easier points. It's easier to score the closer you are to the basket, obviously. So. Malik Monk had a good night passing and scoring. Malik Monk was playing very aggressive. He was out there playing very... he wanted to win, you could tell. So I felt Monk had a good game. And DeRozan, he just kind of did what he does, hit his jump shots, pass when needed. I would have liked to see DeRozan probably a little bit more aggressive than he was last night and try to get to the rim probably a little bit more. The midi game is always hot, so, that's a good thing that he can go to if needed. But drive to the basket just a little bit more. And then, I don't know, the defensive blow-bys and the no help at the rim type thing is it's been hurting the Kings all season. I've seen almost all the guys get blown by, so, everybody's a victim of that. And who else? Keegan Murray had, his okay kind of Keegan Murray type game, hitting 3s. Trey Lyles was decent, but just not enough defense at the end of the game and not enough shot hitting at the end of the game. Just tell of 2 halves. It's coming up next game on Saturday. The Bucks are in 5th place, 39-30. They're a good team. They're an excellent team. Now, that's a team the Kings are going to have to come out and play. They're not going to be able to be lackadaisical and play half-assed like they did in the second half of this game. I mean, you're not able to do that against any NBA team, really, or a team like Chicago will beat you, which happened. But the Bucks are a good team. The Kings are going to have to come out and play hard. They're going to have to play defense, and hopefully all of our guys are clicking on offense and hitting on all cylinders to beat the Bucks. It's going to be another test because that's a Eastern Conference playoff team. So it'll be a test for the Kings to see what they're going to do out there. But yeah, that's my cup of Joe. Black, 1 creamer. I'm going to give you guys some quick stats. So yeah, like I said earlier, the Kings came out to a great first quarter, okay second quarter. They kind of lost it a little bit in the second. And then the second half is what really killed the Kings. Bulls hit for 37 and 36 in the third and fourth, and the Kings only hit for 25, 27. Definitely not going to be able to beat a team with that kind of offensive production and that kind of defense. And the Bulls got the win 128 to 116. And for the Chicago Bulls, their leading scorer was Coby White, who went off on the Kings. I guess nobody was able to guard Coby White last night. No Keon Ellis, no Devin Carter. Nobody was able to stop him. And Kevin Huerter, with his revenge game, had 25 points. He was out there looking angry, ready to have his revenge game versus the Kings. Like, okay, Kevin Huerter, like, you didn't play like that when you were with us. Now, had you played like that when you were with us, we would have kept your ass. You would have been still here. Like, if you would have had games like that, like the way you played against us, you still been here. So, you know, what's the anger for? You never really panned out for the Kings. You never had games like this. Very rarely. So, it's whatever with Kevin Huerter. And then Vucevic had 24. Vucevic also had 14 big rebounds on the night, and he was their leading assist getter with 18. And for the Sacramento Kings leading scorer was our dog, Malik Monk. Leading Jonas Valanciunas only had 6. He only played 15 minutes. I noticed Doug will pull him for smaller lineups a lot. Trey Lyles had more time than Jonas Valanciunas with 24 minutes. He did have 22 points, though, so he hit his threes and was scoring really well. Trying to play that 5 position. DeRozan with 22 also on the night. And leading rebound getter was Keegan Murray. Good on Keegan Murray. I like to see that. I like seeing Keegan Murray get 9 rebounds. That's good. He played a lot of minutes, though. He played the most minutes. 38 minutes. Not sure why Keegan gets the most minutes every night. You know, he needs to pick up his point production if that's going to be the case. You can't just be out there just getting the most minutes and not producing, you know what I mean? So I'd like to see Keegan with a little more points than that, but 9 rebounds, that's cool. He was out there playing defense and shot a few threes, so that was good. And 3 guys with 5 assists, DeRozan, Malik Monk, and Zach LaVine. So those 3 guys were out there throwing dimes, throwing passes, playing de facto point guard out there tonight. And team stats, both teams shot around 50% from field goals, 3-pointers. Both teams hit 15 3-pointers for around 40%. Free throws, Bulls shot 4 more free throws than the Kings. Both teams shot in the 80s. Rebounds was close. Bulls with 40, Kings 36. And assist to turnovers, Bulls 32-12. Assists 27-11 for the Kings. And points in the paint, Bulls had more points in the paint with 60 than the Kings. They had more easier shots and drives to the basket than the Kings did on this night. The stats were about even. Team stats were about even. I don't believe they really tell the story of the game because in that second half, the Bulls were hot and the Kings were not. Bottom line, the Kings morning after. Bottom line. Today's bottom line is, and my bottom line for this game is just can't be doing this, man. Can't be having these letdowns. You know, I feel like any team with a lower record than us, we need to beat that team, in my opinion. I mean, unless they're like really close to us and our ranking are close to our win-loss record, and we know they have guys that kill the Kings. But other than that, we should be beating teams like the Bulls, which is a very young team. They've had some turmoil. I guess not turmoil, but, you know, they had some moves happen at the trade deadline. So there's a couple new guys on this team as well. You know, like Herter, for example. He's new to the Bulls, you know. But he killed the Kings last night. Why didn't Levine kill the Bulls, his ex-team? You know, why didn't DeRozan kill the Bulls, his ex-team? Malik Monk was the killer last night. So, bottom line, these guys need to be more aggressive on offense. If your shot's not hitting, drive to the basket. Get to the basket. Keegan Murray's going to have to make the most of his time out there. I mean, come on. Keegan Murray is playing 38 minutes, the most minutes a night. He needs to be more productive than 10 points. You know, shoot your threes, whatever, but you need to be driving to the basket and develop some type of post game. Keegan Murray has no kind of back to the basket game. They need to work on him on developing some type of back to the basket. Not something that he has to rely on, but something that he can use at times in the game. Who else? Who am I not thinking of? Valanciunas, I guess, was just kind of a mismatch last night. We're kind of hurting not having Sabonis out there, obviously, you know. Bottom line, these guys need to play a lot harder on defense and be a lot more aggressive on offense. I mean, that's basic, but it's a basic game, you know. It's pretty simple. You don't let guys that are on second night of back-to-back come into your crib and kick your ass. That's exactly what happened last night. You know, you got to find it inside you. That emotion has to come out. You know, that heart has to come out. You can't lax off in this moment if you want to make it to the playoffs. Don't play like you're okay with losing 9th place or losing 10th place and not being in the playoffs. Play like you're trying to get to 6th place or trying to get to a playoff position as opposed to a play-in position. And it just didn't look like that last night. So they have to work on those things and definitely still work on their closeouts. Teams still can come in here and hit threes at a crazy rate. And that's my bottom line. Next up, the Kings will be playing versus the Milwaukee Bucks tomorrow, 7 p.m. Be there, be square, and click that subscribe button so that you can be notified the day after that game when I do another episode of this show. And as we all know, the Bucks are led by superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo. They traded for Damian Lillard, OG. They have a big center in Brook Lopez. They recently got Kyle Kuzma. They have Taurean Prince, Bobby Portis Jr., Kevin Porter Jr., AJ Green, Ryan Rollins, Gary Trent, Pat Connaughton, Jericho Sims, Andre Jackson, to name a few guys. Is this team beatable? Any team is beatable. Is this team good? Yes, they're very good. Are they good on defense? Yes, they're good on defense. Are the Kings going to have to play some really good defense? Yes. Did they get better after the trade deadline? Probably a little bit better, maybe, with obtaining Kyle Kuzma. This is a team where, you know, you can't let Giannis Antetokounmpo go crazy in the hole, down low in the basket. You can't allow him to drive to the basket anytime he wants. You need to show him resistance. Damian Lillard, we know he's a three-point dead-eye shooter. You got to guard Damian Lillard damn near from half court on. Brook Lopez, you can't let him push you around and muscle you around. This is definitely a game where it would be nice to have both Valanciunas and Sabonis, which we won't. So it's going to be interesting to see how we're able to match up against this team. But this game is on Saturday, so like I said, after you check that game out, make sure you check out my analysis the day after. All right, this is BetUS. BetUS is like a traditional sportsbook experience, casino sportsbook experience. They have all the sports. I like to use this site to bet on boxing. There's a little bit of UFC coming up this weekend as well. But the basketball lines for tonight, they have a bunch of games going on today and tonight. They have the Los Angeles Clippers beating the Grizzlies by 7. How do you feel about that game? Portland Trailblazers by 2 at home versus the Nuggets. How do you feel about that game? That's interesting. Nuggets, Trailblazers. I would think the Nuggets would be favored in that one. How do you guys feel? Cleveland Cavs versus the Suns. They got Cavs beating the Suns by 8.5. That's pretty interesting. The Suns aren't that bad, are they? And the Celtics by 15 over the Jazz. So you guys can make bets on this site as well. I'm in California and I can bet. And they also have a ton of other stuff you can bet on too. If you like to do some sports bet, use that link below. They'll give you some extra money and it helps out the channel. And I got a question for you guys. How are you guys feeling about the Kings run right now? Make a comment for me. Comment how you feel. Are the Kings going to make it to that 6th spot? Are they stuck in 9th? Do you think they're going to get booted out of the play-in altogether? Make a comment. Let me know how you feel. Also, comment just generally how you think the Kings are doing. Comment on my show. Comment on how I'm doing. Comment on the weather. I don't care. Comment on anything. It helps me kick the algorithm's ass. So make a comment. And if you make a comment before I do the next video, I'll put your comment in the next video. And also, as always, guys, I ask, please click that like button. If you're watching this far, I ask, click that like button. Also, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to the content. We're trying to grow the channel. We want to do some live watch parties and some more other fun things like that. But we need more subscribers, so go ahead and click that subscribe button. If you're into Kings talk, Kings news, NBA talk, basketball talk, click that subscribe button. And also, if you can, share the content. Sharing is amazing. If you can share for me, I really appreciate it. Any of your social medias, that would be golden. And as always, make a comment if you can. All right, I got a pretty cool quote from you, and this quote is by Vince Lombardi, of all people, famous football guy Vince Lombardi. Perfection is not attainable, but if you chase perfection, you can catch excellence. That makes sense. That makes sense. We can't be perfect, but if we try, we'll get damn close and we'll be excellent at least, right? Perfection is not attainable, but if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence. Very good quote by Vince Lombardi. I like that one a lot. And folks, that's pretty much all that I have for you guys today. I really appreciate you joining me. I appreciate you watching this far. Hopefully you have liked, hopefully you have subscribed, hopefully you'll make a comment, and hopefully you'll be back the day after the next Kings game for the next episode of the Kings Morning After Midday Cup of Joe with Jay. And with that, I'm out. But before you go, check out these moves. It's good.